we came back from our little journey from Vegas, so we've got some things that we wanted to share. The first one is I got shit on by a bird.
Literally.
Yeah, literally. I went, so MGM, I guess, had the licensing agreement for Coca-Cola. So about second or third day, I was like shaking because I didn't have Diet Mountain Dew. So I knew that there was a place right around the corner from MGM. So I decided I had about 30 minutes here. I'm going to get an MGM or a Diet Mountain Dew. So I walked out, get the Diet Mountain Dew, walk back proudly, and all of a sudden, boom! I'm like, holy shit, what was that? And it was shit. And it even splashed on my sport coat. And I was like, this is really bad. And if I felt violated a little bit. But then when I got back with Lynn, she told me that was good luck. And I should immediately gamble. And she was right. It works. So when you're in Vegas, before we get started, there was a couple of things. I went to Jared James, and I'm going to send this to everybody. The scripts and this that we go over. We probably won't get to all of it today, but there was a couple of things that I found that was not Jared James, but this girl Chelsea. We always talk about, you know, what goes on with social media. How do these people move up the charts? How do they get all these followers? Like, what's going on? So this girl Chelsea, I can't think of her last name. I'll put it in the deal after the meeting because I did actually follow her on Instagram. She's got like 45,000 followers. She's an agent. And one of the things that I was talking to Kay about this yesterday that I didn't understand about the algorithm of, she was specifically talking about Instagram. So she said that she read this book. And so for the first 4 to 6 months that she got on Instagram, she followed people that she was interested in who had big followings, like a lot of people. And so she would be an avid fan and comment, not just like, but comment. And when she started doing that, they would comment back. They began commenting back because she commented so many times and almost became familiar to these high profile people on Instagram. What that does, unbeknownst to me, who's sitting there, is that when they contact you, you've contacted them, and then they respond to you, you move up levels. You don't ever post, she didn't post anything for 6 months. You just move up levels because that person, Sean Reeser said something the other day that I thought was really good. He said, it's kind of like being at a bar and the popular person talks to you and then you become cool. So that's what this is. This algorithm on Instagram is if you become an avid fan of somebody, you know, I'm just thinking because we talk about this all the time on Instagram. There's Brad McCullen, there's Shannon Gillette, there's Ken Posick. These are guys that are just bigger than life real estate agents. If you start following them and you start commenting, they come out back to you, you'll move up the levels without ever doing anything. So it's just something to think about because I didn't think commenting was a big deal. But it is a big deal if you comment enough and they comment back to you. Anybody know that?
No.
No? I didn't. Learn something new every day.
So you have to do more than like.
Like does nothing for you. Like means nothing. It's all interaction. And the person who did know this was Kylie. Kylie knew that because she got 10,000 views the other day on her TikTok. So she's understand, and she said it's all engagement. Everything that happens on social media, and that's why everybody who you go talk to social media in Vegas says anybody who's just putting out there that you're a real estate agent and you have a listing and you haven't just sold, go away because you are wallpaper.
Wow. Okay.
That should be 20%. That should be 20% of what you do. 80% of what you should do should be engagement material, things that are of interest or things that might be entertaining. That's 80% of you because people will do business with people they like and trust. Listing and just sold doesn't do anything for you as an agent, and it doesn't do anything for the engagement with the person who's getting it. All it does is it makes them feel like flipping, scrolling. So, and it was a consistent, for all the people who do it, it was a consistent message that that is what you should do if you engage in social media.
Is there
And the people who do
similar,
100% of the other, they're really just, it's like they're not doing anything. So just a tip on that.
same on
Yeah, yeah.
Facebook, Brent?
What's that?
Is there a similar algorithm on Facebook, do you know?
Most likely.
Probably, here's what I think, Neil. I think that because Facebook and Instagram are owned by the same people, Facebook owns Instagram. I'm fairly confident this girl was really just talking about Instagram, but there's no doubt that Facebook goes off engagement. It just does. Likes it's like the beginning of the race. The engagement part, and here's the other thing. I did read this the other day about Facebook. Something that keeps your thing alive in Facebook, that keeps you alive in the world of the algorithm is, you could have something that you posted last week, but if somebody comments again, it shoves you back up the range for your post. Your post goes back into the main page, the main scroll, newsfeed. So yes, Neil, if you want to keep things alive, get something that has engagement. They say that polls work really well. You know, do you like this or do you like this? You know, if you could get people to say, oh, I like this place to eat, or do you like this couch? Or do you like this couch? Do you like these cabinets painted this way? Or do you like it painted that way? So polls get people to engage and talk, and then some people might even respond to somebody who commented, not just you, but somebody who commented within that they're engaging. But that was one thing that Chelsea brought up was that she's very big into polls. Like she'll ask, well, she showed us, she was wearing her outfit. And so she had her post that day, should I wear this or should I wear this? And she got the poll and she wore that outfit. So she just showed just within the day that she, you know, had a tremendous amount of.
The other way to focus on that too, guys, is your stories. Your stories are much more impactful, even though they're only on there for 24 hours. These stories are much more impactful because you get more viewership out of them.
Right.
That's where the polls would come in, right? When you go on a storyline and you see people, hey, you know, should I do this or should I do that? And they have the yes or the no, and people are clicking. That's the repetitive engagement that you're looking for. You'll tend to find more people going through your stories than the actual page itself, right? That's why you see the big, huge difference in the viewership, if you will, or views from your stories versus your actual post. Start utilizing your stories much more frequently because it's kind of like a quick post, and people go to those stories a lot faster than they do the actual posts themselves.
They're just more popular. That's one of the things that the Chelsea, who's kind of an Instagram influencer person, she said that they're just more popular. Stories are more popular than the post or the old thing. The stories are the new thing. I guess it's the same thing with Reels, or no, Facebook stories. There's Facebook stories and then there's Instagram stories, but both of those things have become more popular in the feed just because I think it's easier to hit and people are getting something quick, and that's why they do that. One other thing. When Jared James, I'm just staying on video here just for a second. Did anybody ever heard of Jared James? I hadn't, but I'm a big fan now. He was the #1 agent in RE/MAX when he was 26 years old. He's 40 years old now, and he's got 3 or 4 different businesses, and he's become kind of a rock star. But he is a salesman. I mean, he gives you, and these scripts that he has, you know that he knows what he's doing because he's a salesman. One of the things he said about video, he said, you know, he hears all the time, I don't know what to post on video. I don't like the way I sound. We talk about that. But he said, if you don't know what to post, he said, I'll give you 2 things right off the bat. What are people asking you every week? And do that. Give them the answers. Just don't give that person the answer, give everybody the answers. It's like Lynn's contract class. Her contract class is what she hears every week. She's just not putting it on video, but that's the class. So whatever you're hearing from your clients, answer their questions. Or answer 2 or 3 questions. Second thing is, go to YouTube. Find the video that's the highest viewed video for real estate. Maybe the top 5. Do that video. Jared said, you know what happens? He said that video might have got 1 million views, but you know what your video does? If you use the same hashtags and all the same stuff, it shows up right underneath that video. How about that? Pretty smart. I was sitting there in the front row thinking this guy is really smart. So that's a really good technique. Go to YouTube, look at what's working, and do that video, and you'll show up underneath that video that has 1 million views because you have all the same stuff in the search. So that's just 1 or 2 or 3 techniques on social media and video that these guys have hacked into that I think is worth the effort. Okay, so let's go into the new listing and prospecting ladder. I want to use some of these scripts that Jared came out with. Okay, so this is a new prospecting letter. Okay, so first thing you do, this is Jared James, and Jared James is very cocky, and he said, listen, he asked somebody in the audience, how long have you been in business? She says, I've been in the business 15 years. And he said, I bet if I move in 3 months, I'll dominate your market, dominate you. And she was like, well, he says, because I use this. I can dominate anybody, any neighborhood I want to. So one of the things he does is he takes the MLS and he starts using it for notifications. So if he's got a place that his farm community, and he likes that particular neighborhood, anytime something's listed in that neighborhood, it notifies you. Okay, then he then addresses that with the EDDM, which is the every door direct mail. Everybody's familiar with that? Yes, no? Yeah. Okay, that's just a simple thing where you take it to the post office, he hits every mailbox in that neighborhood, and it costs you, I think, 19 cents, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so you've been notified. Listing in your favorite place. This is the place you want to dominate. Okay, so this is the letter that goes out. It says, Mr. Jose, I'm not sure that we have ever met in person, but I wanted to make sure to make you aware that your neighbor's house at such and such address just went up for sale for listed price, which is going to catch your attention because they're what? Nosy neighbors, and we like nosy neighbors. We love nosy neighbors for open houses too. Most importantly, though, this is his crafty language here. This may have changed the value of your home. It may have. He doesn't know that it did, but it may have changed the value of your home. Now you've said 2 things that are probably very interesting to somebody who lives in that neighborhood. Number 1. What's my neighbor's house worth and listed for? Number 2, what does that make my house worth? Okay, so the last thing I'd ever want to do is bother you with worthless information, but I'm also aware that when a house goes up for sale, usually others want to know what the value of their property is as well. If you're one of these people and would like to know if your value has changed and doesn't want to have to pay to find out or waste your time with inaccurate online property estimates, kind of just throws that in there as a little slide deal, because everybody can get their values online. Please don't hesitate to contact me at your earliest convenience. I'd love the opportunity to serve you without you having to fill in an obligation in return. And then you can contact me and you can email me whenever you need. Looking forward to hearing from you. Not bad, right?
Great, I love it.
I mean, you just hit the neighborhood. So, we've talked about real estate reviews. This is a little different. It's a little different. Back in the back here, we've got language of when these people contact you, how you want to get to them. But to me, this was an easy plug and play. Really easy plug and play. Set it up in your MLS, you get notified. You might have 2 or 3 places that you like, neighborhoods that you like, and so you get the notifications and you send that out. And you can work with any of the people that we've got as partner vendors if you want to do the EDDM, both with Homestead Financial and New American Funding, both do a good job in getting that to the right places. And I think all you have to do is just drop it off. Okay, so that's new listing prospecting letter. Okay. Let's go for scripts for the most common commission objections, because I always am thinking these are fun because they do come up. And some of this is a little bit different. He kind of made a twist on this one. Okay, so the scripts for the most common commission objections. Do you guys get commission objections ever? Comes up, hey, XYZ said he'd do it for this. Okay. So the alpha seller. You know what? I don't want to waste anyone's time here. None of this means anything if we can't agree on your commission. So he just says that right up front. Okay. You, being the agent, says, you're right. I don't want to waste any of my time either. So let's do this. Let's make an agreement. You and I are going to negotiate my commission right now, but you have to promise me this one thing. If you win this negotiation, then you have to promise me that you will never hire me to sell the largest asset you'll probably ever own. Deal?
Deal.
I love it though. You guys get that one?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
If you beat me in this negotiation, don't let me sell your house because I will give it away. Otherwise, you want me as your agent because I know my value. I've not ever heard it said that way. I've gone through like Tom Ferry stuff and other stuff, Buffini. This is a little different twist, but it makes the seller think about, well, first of all, that's kind of a cocky statement. But second of all, he's probably right. I don't want to win this battle. I want him to win this negotiation so he can win the negotiation on my house. I wanted the guy at the best negotiator at the table for the best price for my house. I don't want my house given away, and I don't want somebody that automatically doesn't see the value of their own self at the table right away to say, hey, I'll do it for, whatever. Okay. Here's the discount broker seller. Because this is coming up more and more. That's why, we're talking about it. I really like you, but I just don't know why I would pay so much to sell my house when there are so many other companies out there that'll do it for a fraction of the cost and the other agents are offering. Okay. So you're at the deal. The first thing is they're saying everybody else is doing it for cheap. Why would I do it with you? Jared responds, Mr. Seller, I completely understand why it would be enticing to get what you feel like would be the same selling experience for a much cheaper cost. What I won't ever do is bash or degrade my competition, but it is my job to make sure that you ask the right questions when making such a big decision regarding the sale of one of the largest assets you'll ever own. With that being said, my only question would be, why would someone choose to do the same amount of work as I plan to do and seemingly market your house in a similar way at a fraction of the cost, unless they simply couldn't make it in a traditional brokerage and get paid like a professional? Wow.
Wow. Those are good words.
I like his words. That's why I wanted to go over this with you. There's certain ways to say stuff. He's first saying, I'm not bashing anybody, but I'm doing a lot of big stuff here, and somebody else is saying they're going to do the same thing for a lot less, but why would they do that unless they can't hack it? Okay, here's the last one. The apples to apples seller. I really like you, but Bob said he'd do it for 2%. Would you do it for the same price? Because that can come up, especially if you're the last person at the table at the listing. There's been 2 other people made a presentation, you're the last person there. Well, at least Bob knows what he's worth.
Oh, God.
But I know, but I do know what I'm worth. And I also know that your home is worth what your home is worth. And lucky for you, I'm going to fight for its value the same way I fight for my own. And isn't that the type of professional you want representing you when selling one of the largest assets you are ever going to own? So there it is.
You guys remember when we used to talk about this like last year and the year, almost 2 years now, about how to value your time, value your business? This is exactly what they were talking to when we were in convention, guys. Value your time. It's so crucial to understand that your guys' time is your business. So the more you're putting in, the more quality of a business you have, and that means therefore, you're gonna charge what your true value is.
And they keep.
And ultimately, go ahead, Kay.
Well, I like the way he brings back.
Yeah,
You're
he's the one.
professional.
You're paying for it.
Yeah.
And this is your biggest asset.
Right.
So do you want to give it away? The other thing that I thought was good while we're talking about language here, Buffini had a good one. For a FISBO. And his is talking to a FISBO and they immediately say, hey, with the market today, they say anybody can sell this house. So I don't need an agent. And he said, you know what? That's true. And I've heard that you can also remove your appendix. Your own appendix.
Yeah, he said that. He says, he said, yeah, you can go with another disc, you know, if you can sell it yourself, I'm sure you can sell it yourself, sure. You know, you can also remove your appendix as well.
On your own.
On your own, go for it.
That's what I've heard. But I thought that was just, that, to me, humor sometimes is some of the best, and something like that could really disarm somebody, because they'd have to think about it. Well, I'm sure you probably can remove your appendix on your own. But would I want to do that?
No.
It can be done, but then that gets you into all the other things that you would do for them as an agent, as opposed to them doing it on their own, is what you want to get into. So that's a disarming statement. Buffini is a total professional at disarming through humor. And if anybody has time every week, you should take in Buffini's podcast. It's free. And it's always something in there with a little nugget of something that you can implement, plug and play immediately. So I would really encourage you to do that. He puts one out every week. And if you haven't listened to him, you can go to the front end or the back end. It doesn't matter where you start. He's just really, really good. And it's free. Jared James is I just plugged into him yesterday. His recent podcast is motivation is excuse, consistency is undefeated. So his point was motivation's good, but it doesn't get you there. Consistency is undefeated. His point is that when somebody says, I really need to get more consistent with this, when he says, you're already consistent. You're really consistent. You're just consistent doing the wrong thing. So consistency, doing the right things. And he says motivation, he said, you know, do I get up in the morning? He said, in my world, he said, if you listen to me, I hope you're motivated, or I'm motivating you. But he said, from my standpoint, am I motivated every day? Maybe not. But he said, like, am I motivated to get up and take a shower and shave and get dressed every day and go work out? Maybe not, but I just made a commitment that that's my consistency of what I do. I've agreed that that's what I do.
Can I throw in something here, kind of circling to what you're saying there, Brent? And I've been talking about this the minute I heard it while we were at convention and during convention, because it was so hard for me to frame that in my head. There's a guy by the name of Gary Ashton out of Nashville, Tennessee. Okay?
Jose couldn't get this out of his head. He brought it
I
up
still
10
can't.
times.
I still can't. But you know what? After listening to him and knowing the fact that he has a system in place, guys, a system in place for his business, he looks at himself as a business. He has systems in place in his business, and this is why he is such a success. Remember, I said Nashville, Tennessee when I give you these numbers. Number one, he's the number one agent in the world for Remax International, in the world. Once again, I'm talking about Gary Ashton. Write this name down, look the guy up, do your own research. I'm telling you right now, number one agent in the world, Nashville, Tennessee. Last year, he closed $1.75 billion in sales. That's what the B.
Yeah.
$1.75 billion in sales. Our largest producing agency or team here in St. Louis does about $175 million. Now, I say that because you're dealing with a mid-sized market such as ours, okay? And out of that, not only do you have one guy, but you have two guys. There's a guy named Q. They call him Q because of his name is confusing. He's 27 years old. He's been in the business for less than 5 years. He's the number 2 real estate agent in the world out of Nashville, Tennessee. Duplicated the same systems as Gary Ashton. So you ask, what is it, right? What kind of system? What is the simplicity of it's going to drive you nuts? It's literally having systems in place. It's mind-boggling. Like I can't comprehend it. Like I know that this guy is literally doing 1.75 billion dollars in sales, and he's simply he's accrediting it to because he has systems in place.
Yeah.
So if you look at your business with this and taking in a systematic approach, and you build from that, you will make gains. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be doing $1 billion in sales, guys. I'm just simply saying if a guy like that, and he's, I'm sure marketing and referrals, experience, you name it is out there, right? I'm sure he's nailed it to a degree, right? He's definitely has taken over that market through and through. I mean, he basically sells, damn near, I'm sure, 3/4 of Nashville. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you look at those numbers. I'm still trying to calculate that. But the simple fact that he's accrediting it to being a systematic business, like everything's a system for him, and it makes him go through everything day to day, it's impressive.
Well, one of the things that I think you always need to think about with systems is it's the best thing that was ever invented for business. So if you go back and you looked at systems, we didn't start mass producing cars until Henry Ford said, I got to figure this thing out. I can do this over and 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 over again on this assembly line. That was a system. McDonald's. Ray Kroc goes to McDonald's and sees the McDonald brothers, and he sees that they've got something there that people are standing in line for that they can't get enough of. And the McDonald brothers have a system that they're not even aware of. They don't even know it. He sold the malt machines to them, and they don't know that they've got the system. So Ray Kroc says, I bet I can take exactly what they're doing and do it exactly the same way everywhere. So if you're thinking about something like Jose's talking about, if you want to grow something, let's say that you want to bring on a transaction coordinator, if you want to bring on a buyer agent or listing, whatever, say you wanted to grow something, because they were talking about teams in the deal. You can't do that unless you have a system. You have to train them on what you know and exactly how you do it. They might not do it as good as you, but they'll be pretty damn close. That first McDonald's was probably the best, but those other McDonald's, they're pretty damn close because they had the system. So that is probably the best thing ever invented for business, is whatever your system is. And Jose's got this new thing, doing business your way. Whatever that system is, if you can duplicate it over and over and over again, you might be able to do $1 billion, because whatever he's doing, he's got it down in a way that you can do it over and over and over and over. And the consistency of it is, it's like Jared James says, you want to be like water. You got a rock, you got water. Which one's going to last longer? Water. Because it's consistently hitting that rock and it finally wears it down. You want to be like water. Okay. This should be like rap song.
Sounds like Bruce Lee. Be like water,
It is.
my friend.
It is Bruce Lee. It is Bruce Lee.
And I want to also
It is Bruce
just,
Lee.
I want to add, while we went to Vegas, there was so much information, guys. I've never been the individual to like rock my, pat myself on the back or nothing like that, right? But when we went to a convention, there was a lot of things that they were currently rolling out that we've already discussed prior, a year and a half, guys. Okay? In this organization, like we literally discussed this prior to even, we go to convention, I'm like, wow, I was looking at Brent, I'm like, Brent, we're literally talking about this, 9 months ago, a year ago, year and a half ago.
Yeah.
So what to me, when we sit here and go through these things, guys, I'm very excited to tell you, we're way ahead of the curve, guys. You're not gonna get any more better training. And I can confidently say that for once, I can confidently say that you're not gonna get any better training than here. Because that literally, our trip to Vegas after being away for 2 years has proven the fact that we have continuously been ahead of the curve and making sure you guys have all the information and proper material in front of you guys to succeed. The cool thing is, we brought information that has been utilized probably year after year, time after time for many moons ago, that are traditional based concepts that cost us little to no money to present and add to your systems, your business, which is all this information that Brent's been explaining to you guys.
So this next one's kind of interesting because I don't think I've seen it before. It's the children's listing agreement. So it's a way for the agent to get the kids involved with the whole process. And I thought it was cool because James is really big on this, but I think it's a good, especially if you're the only one doing it. So it's the children's listing agreement. Anybody ever seen this before?
I think it's really cool.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yesterday, Casey was there. So yeah, I showed it to you yesterday. So, okay, so it's a children's listing agreement. And it says, I know that our parents have asked our sales associate, Brent Cassidy from Remax Gold to sell our house. And I know that our sales associate is going to work hard to find a family to buy our house, a family that will love our house as much as we do. I want to help. I promise to help our sales associate by doing the following things: making my bed in the morning, picking up my toys, turning on lights when people come to our house, helping mom and dad keep our house neat and tidy, smiling when people come inside our house. I understand if my parents affirm that I abided by this agreement, I will receive $25. Kids R Us or Best Buy gift certificate. My preference would be, and then they sign it and the sales associate signs it. Gets everybody in the game. Love it. Just fun, something fun, but it gets the kids too, if they really are sad about leaving the house or whatever.
Guys, I apologize to interrupt. I have to run. I gotta go get my computer. My computer crashed completely a couple days ago. So I had to buy another one. So they moved all my junk over to that one. So I gotta go get it real quick to make it back for our meeting.
Good luck.
So I'll be right back. Hopefully I'm back before you. Well, I won't be done before you guys get done. But anyway, guys, it was good seeing you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys in the doing business your weight class Tuesday.
We'll be going over some of this stuff too. Okay.
We got a lot of stuff.
What happened?
We're good. I'll be right back, guys.
Okay. Just side mumble. Okay, I want to go to, let's skip here to the buyer neighborhood letter where he says the first names, the clients and their family. It would.
This one here? Sorry,
That's
I have
next.
them in order.
I know, I'm out of order now, but I just want to make sure we get to it. Oh, do that one, do that one. I like that one. All right, so this is cool. The pizza order form for moving day. So how many pizzas will you need? What kind of soda drink would you like? Briefly describe what kind of pizza you would like. What's the anticipated day of moving day? What time would you prefer delivery? Do you have a preferred place to order from? Love that. Love that. Okay, while we're on that topic, let's just go ahead and go to hold on. Let me get it. It's the neglected client letter. Okay. This is a closing gift idea. Right there, isn't it? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, here's a closing gift idea. And we've got people that can do this. We got Mr. Fix-It and some couple other people. It says, welcome to the new homeowners' names. Welcome to your new home. I know there's no such thing as a home being left in perfect condition. So I've attached a gift card that is good for 1 hour of handyman services from a company I use all the time. And you got the handyman service. I know what it's like to move into a new place, so I'm sure you will find this extremely helpful. Additionally, no one knows more about your home than I do. So if you have questions at any time, please feel free to give me a call or here's my personal cell or email if it's more convenient. Whether you're not sure about the thermostats, how the thermostats work, can't find the main water shut valve off or anything at all, I'm more than happy to help you anyway at any time. So I like that because you're going to pay something. It's $100 of, I don't even know if it says it's $100. It's an hour of a handyman's service time. I think it would probably be appreciated. That person can hang pictures, if anything else. Okay, so going back to the buyer neighborhood letter. I know I'm really messing with Kristen because I've got everything out of
They
order
were
now.
all in order for you.
I know. Let's see, is that it? It's the one that's got the, yeah, there it is. Okay. Okay, so this one is buyer neighborhood letter, because there's another one in here that the buyers didn't get the house, and I'm not sure if this is the one, but it says, I'm not sure that we've met before, but I'm a local realtor in town and was just showing houses in your neighborhood whenever I was showing the number of buyers, their names, some of the houses that are currently for sale in your area. As I'm sure that you're not surprised, they love the neighborhood. But unfortunately, I have shown them everything that is on the market here and still have not been able to find the perfect match for what they're looking for. The real reason that I'm writing you, though, is because I take my job of finding my clients their dream very seriously, and I'm committed to finding them the perfect home, whether it's currently on the market or not. I'm asking that if you're even considering selling or hope or happen to know someone else in the area that is, please contact me at your earliest convenience so I can possibly play a role as matchmaker. Okay, then he just briefly just, hey, it's Kay and Frank, and they're looking for a house with, just a quick vague description. Maybe it's a 3 or 4 bedroom with such and such. Yeah, right, wine cellar for Kay. They're currently not an overwhelming of these properties available to meet their criteria. But like I mentioned, that is why I'm writing you. I'm committed to getting my clients what they want, even if that means thinking outside the box. So the reason I wanted to show you this is something that Jared said he likes to do on Facebook, where he just turns around and he's at the entrance of Claim on Estates and says, I love this neighborhood and my clients love this neighborhood. We can't find a house in here. This is what they like. If you know anybody in this neighborhood that is interested or you're interested, please give me a call. And he puts that on Facebook. It doesn't cost me. And then sometimes he goes out even bigger. He might say in Chesterfield or South County or the Hill. But he said, what I like about that is, he said, it doesn't cost me anything. But he said, it does get engagement. And he said, when it gets engagement, it helps me on social media anyway. So he said, it's kind of a double dip. So he sends the letter out, but he says, I do the Facebook thing first. What do you guys think of that?
I like it. I do too.
It's easy and you never know. But I mean, here's the thing that I like about this stuff. You're not sitting back waiting for, oh, poor me, I can't find any listings or I can't find them. You're going out and grabbing the market, engaging the market, and shaking it out and seeing if something falls out. That's what's interesting to me about that approach, because like Buffini said, some other people said, what they say about the listings? When you remember how I said that? He said,
We said
there-
it's not that there aren't listings, there aren't listings in
In the
MLS.
That's it.
Yep.
And Mary just showed up just for that.
Just for that,
And that's why she's our magic
Yeah.
Mary. She knew exactly when to arrive to answer the question exactly the way that it was asked.
And I like how you just said, that thing that Brian maybe said, and Mary, out of came, you didn't
Okay.
tell her.
Perfect. So this is the buyer, and then I want to, the buyer gets turned down. Okay, buyer not accepted letter. This is good too. So same idea, same neighborhood. This is a every door direct mail deal again. I don't believe we've ever met in person, but I'm a local realtor that showed your neighbor's house yesterday at 123 address. Unfortunately, my buyer's offer was not accepted, but I'm sure that I'm not shocking you when I say they're absolutely in love with your neighborhood. But that's actually why I'm reaching out. With all the tools available to people today, I take my job very seriously and try to provide real value beyond what a computer or app on its own can possibly provide. While my buyer's offer wasn't accepted, they're still very interested in your neighborhood. If you're considering selling or even have the slightest of interest, I would love it if we could reach out. If you could reach out to me right away before my clients buy something else. While I can't promise that your house will be the perfect match for them, I can guarantee you that I will bring it to their attention. Even if you aren't ready right now, your neighbor's house going up for sale may have changed your value. So it's a double dip again.
Right.
If you would like to know if it's changed, just let me know.
I love that. It's really good.
And then please feel free to call me. So that's a good letter. And that's a good EDDM letter. Instead of just sending something out that's a postcard, and it's got, the stuff. Send one out that could actually grab you something. Send something that you can shake something out of that neighborhood. This is a call to action. And Kay, you've done this. Kay's shaking her head because she actually did this last year. And she had her own K letter and sent it around the neighborhood. And she got somebody to contact her. So it does work. It's just you gotta have to kind of figure out where you want to do it, how you want to do it, and when you want to do it. But one of the things that makes it easy is using the MLS to notify you. This is actually your buyer, but the one we used before that's the notification to say, okay, whatever's in this neighborhood and this neighborhood, and this neighborhood, I'm getting notifications from them. I'm gonna blanket it every time somebody lists something. And it's not you listing something, you're piggybacking off what they listed, which I think is smart.
I like this better than the ones that we normally receive. So we get things in the mail all the time, and it's, I have a buyer for your home.
Yeah.
You don't know that for sure.
Right.
You may have someone looking in, but at least you're admitting that here.
Yeah.
It's like, I may have a buyer for your home. I don't know if it'll match completely, but you're not setting a false expectation.
Yeah.
And we could get, everybody's been getting those.
Well, and I think, hey, you bring up a really good point, because if you would happen to do business or they would reach out to you, they have to trust you and like you. And if they feel like you were slick with them on that, then that's off on the wrong foot right away.
Yeah.
Where you're really upfront with this, it's, my buyers want in here.
Right.
I can't guarantee you they want your house, but boy, if you're interested, I'm gonna put it right in front of them.
Yeah.
And that's,
that would almost also be a question when you want to ask your buyers, like what neighborhoods are you looking at?
mhm.
Maybe there isn't anything there, but.
I'm gonna do everything I can to shake one out. Good point, Mary, because that's, if there's not anything going on, maybe you can make something go on. And man, wouldn't that buyer be impressed? If there's nothing going on in that neighborhood they love, and you send out this letter and you shake out a couple of people and they can go look at it, that would be a good oh, that was the other thing. But we'll get to this next because I told Kristen, we'll on Jose's deal, we'll get into some of these other scripts because there's more to it. But I'm gonna send these out to you guys so that you can already start taking a look at them. And as we go into it, we can kind of play around with them. But you guys have any questions about any of that? Any of this? You can open it up, Kristen, because we'll stop there because I don't want to go into the meat of the big stuff.
I think
There's
some of
Sean. I
those
didn't
are
know Sean
great.
was on.
Right as we switched.
What, I missed what you said, Joe. I'm sorry.
I think some of those are great.
Yeah, I do too. I was sitting on, I actually got into the thing and I couldn't find a seat. And was sitting in the front row with Jared James there and I thought, man, I want to shake your hand. It's like I became a groupie all at once. But what I like about these guys, these are things you can just plug and play immediately into your business. You just start doing this tomorrow. You can set up the MLS, you can get notifications, you can start using the buyer letters, you can start doing the FaceTime thing. Hey, I'm looking for this here. These are things you can do right now. There's nothing you have to wait on for 2 or 3 months or whatever. You can just start using it and make it work for you however you want to. And Kristen, we're gonna make sure we get this emailed out to you. There's more stuff in here. There's the script for calling the seller leads back. Let's say that one of the people, let's say Kay calls me back and says, I actually am maybe interested, but I really want to know the value of my home. There's language for that, how you want to talk back, because you want to actually go meet them. You don't want to just send it to them, so you kind of want to talk to them.
Right. Give
So-
your stuff away.
Yeah, so you want to go over and meet them. So there's language for that. There's also language for the buyer in here if they reach back out to you. So probably cover this on Tuesday, but anyway, I got the shirt. There's anything else? Oh, just one other thing. Put my glasses on. Because we're always talking about listings and what we need to do in listings. I'm not going into all that. But one thing I do want to do is one thing that Jared brought up that I think is smart. We can find out so much about these people before we meet with them. Don't walk in a listing call cold. You can go on and you can find out on Google, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, all their hobbies, all their kids, all the things they like and dislike, and that will give you a great head start to build rapport. If they love dogs and if they love wine.
I'm your girl.
But you might want to talk about wine when you show up. You might want to talk about dogs. It's just smart. It's one of those things where you think, if I'm not doing that, it's like, I need to do that. I need to do that. That's one of those, I'll check that one off. That information is there. They're not a stranger. They put all their stuff out there. Most people do.
Right.
Okay, the other thing, I'm just gonna leave you this too. On the, before you get there on a listing, do your homework on what has sold, what's happened in there. Just do your research on the local neighborhood. You might even contact some of the agents that have listed things in that neighborhood and have a general conversation of why that sold for what it sold for. They might have had something different. It might have been all redone. And so when you're trying to make those comps, take an extra 30 minutes out and talk to people who've been listing in there. They'll talk to you. And it's worth the research, because when you go in and you look like the expert in their neighborhood, there's a good chance that they're going to think they like you and trust you. And that's the thing that gets the signature on the ink, on the line. Okay, all right, we'll stop there.